Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO Ninjago movie set review from BrickByBrick. Today we have set number 70617, the Temple of the Ultimate Weapon. It contains 1,403 pieces and retails for $99.99. However, if you're lucky you can find it on Walmart.com whenever it's in stock. They usually have it for $80, so relatively easy to get this thing 20% off. The set as a whole consists of pretty much just a giant temple. Goes pretty tall. Like, it's taller than the box is, because a little spire all the way up there. But, yeah, it's got a lot of height to it. It is almost as tall as Ninjago City. So, probably about 28 inches tall. I don't remember what it says officially. But, the actual model, from the outside, is relatively simple. These are two separate little dog builds that we'll take a look at in a minute. First, I just wanted to go over the outside appearance. And those, can be posed most effectively at the entrance to the temple. But it's, not completely necessary to do because it still looks good even like this. The actual stairs leading up to the temple are kind of, rocky looking, and I don't remember it looking exactly like this in the movie. I don't remember the red ground, but I do remember that there was a big long spirally staircase that they ended up walking up, but it was a whole lot bigger than this, so this is obviously scaled down quite a bit. Note that these are all stickered tiles, all the same sticker, but, cool that they have some sort of pattern to them. And these all around the doors, those are all stickers, so there are a lot of stickers there. Oh, look, Lloyd's in the way. But it's got some good texturing up there. And I like the way that it uses these black window panels to kind of cover up the sides. The very bottom looks rocky, and there is a little bit of a underground area to the actual temple. But, yeah, on the sides, it looks relatively plain. We'll get further into this when we look more towards the rear, but again, just wanted to give you a little bit of a brief overview. There's a cool little scorpion piece in earth blue on both sides, and on this side there is a little cage element which you can swing around, and it opens up with these two bone clips, and you can fit a figure in there pretty well. So cool little feature, but you see these in quite a decent number of sets. And this side is a little bit more plain than the other one in a couple ways. But that's pretty much all there is for the outside appearance. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, I guess up here, this just some more Oriental architecture, and this is a little torch or flame or something. It's a blue flame, and there's a little crystal in the middle. Not sure exactly what this is supposed to represent. But, yeah, it is an interesting design here. And this is all one big door that does open up. It's a little bit hard to do, though, from the front. You kind of have to force it. And, yeah, opens up just like that. We'll take a look at the inside in a moment. But first, there is one little play feature out here, excluding the cage. You can pull down on this, and it will launch open this rock face, and you can send your ninjas inside through a secret passage. So we'll send Lloyd in there. It's tough to do with his weapon though. But we'll send him in. We'll catch up with him later. And yeah, the rest of our crew can walk right through the front door. Oh wait, that's why you gotta reset that. But yeah, the rest of our crew with Cole can just walk right through the front door. And let's see what waits him on the other side. Alright, so here is the inside of the temple. And the, their treasure is right here, isn't it? But if you try and walk towards it, it'll just extend outwards, which does open a trap door back there, which Jay is trying to fall through, but it's not working out too well. which is the issue with this trapdoor. When they're holding weapons, it doesn't really work all that well. But if we, you know, pull him up here and try that again without his weapon in hand, you just push this back in place to close it up, and just reposition J there, and as this comes out, J will fall right through, ideally, and he will slide out. That takes us back right underneath the stairs. So, yeah, difficult to see from both sides, but that is where he ends up. And inside there is a little bit of more stickered detailing. This side over here has a vermilion statue to take a look at with the figures. There's a portrait of Sensei Wu, and up here there is a little bit of a sword. And, you know, Kai likes katanas quite a bit, so he'll stand here. It's difficult to get him to do so, but watch out, because there is a big sword that will come out when you flick this gear. Must have happened to the poor skeleton guy. And above that, there is just one little room, and that covers this whole half of the temple. It's, you know, very shallow, which is kind of a shame, but I think that some of the details in here, especially like these stickers, look really, really well designed. This side over here has some scrolls rolled up on the wall, a picture of Baby Garment on there, and an actual scroll, which apparently is trying to teach some spin jitsu. And that's cool and all. You know, it might be nice to learn. Zane likes to learn things. So, we will put him right here. However, you might want to watch out, because if he's not careful, he will get shot with one of these disc things. This is a printed piece. It was introduced in Skybound, and the set includes an extra one, you know, because extra ammo is always necessary. And that's activated just by pushing this little plunger on this side. And as far as the room above this, there isn't much in here. There is some spare weapons, a butterfly sword, which is cool, and a katana, which is relatively boring. And that vase is nicely built. I like the snake, which uses a Hands of Time snake mold and a little sack on the ground. But, you know, so far, only a couple of our ninjas have actually made it into the temple. Cole has been standing outside, and whoops, I just spoiled what's going to happen to him. But, yeah, if he's not careful, he will have a box of TNT dropped on him. This is a Angry Birds print, I think. And that's not all, because this, which I think is my favorite mechanism in the set, is a boulder, and it's just dangling up there waiting for something to happen. If you release this, it will fall down, and bye-bye coal. So this piece here is just, you know, one of the standard boulders. But what I really like is that you can just turn this and it will lock itself. I don't know, that's just a satisfying feeling. And you just release that and it will all fall down. It's because of the way that this is done with a gear and a Technic axle and gravity. So that is pretty cool. And up in this room here, there is a sticker in the background with Sensei Wu's teapot and one of the new City Jungle spiders on the wall. And further up, there's one more sticker on the back of this section with the little flame. And you could almost consider this an interior area, but it really doesn't fit anything, and they sloped it off so that, you know, it couldn't be. And there's the top of the temple. But I told you we'd catch up with Lloyd, so let's do that. Lloyd is down here, and he can crawl out. There is a snake, though, so we better watch out. There are two of those, and those are just thrown in there. And there's also a second exit. I don't know why you'd put this here. I think maybe it would have made more sense on this side, but this is where the instructions tell you to place it. So, you know, it would have been nice to have an entrance either way. But down here on the other side, which is, I just realized I was not zoomed out. Whoops. But this side is where I suggested putting that little entrance, and there's part of a skeleton body. But, you know, I would also like to show you what happens when you finally get to the treasure by, jumping across here on these little posts. Inside this box, which is just attached with jumpers so you can't easily remove it, is only gold coins, which, minor spoiler, that's not what the actual ultimate weapon is, and it would have been really nice to get that instead, those pieces that are the ultimate weapon. But, it is what it is. Not going to complain too much. Yeah, that is a decent amount of playability that we've got here. I do think, though, that there are certain things that could be improved, which we'll talk about in the final verdict, but we have some figures to look at. So, there are 2 dogs here included with the set, Stone Dog Guardians, and these are decent. They've got a decent amount of posability. The legs can move in 2 joints, each one, and they're all ball joints, so it works out pretty well, and I think that it looks decent. The head can turn around. The bottom jaw is a little weird, but I think it works for what it is. And I do like how you have the ability to pose the eyebrows just a little, so you can make them look sad, you can make them look kind of more angry, a little bit confused. So there's a decent amount of options there, and you can move the ears back and forth too, even. But there are 2 of these, and they're the first 2 things you build, and they are pretty boring to build. So that is kind of a pain, because you build exactly the same thing twice. And personally, I don't think these add too much to the set. They don't come to life really in the movie. They fall down the staircase, and Kai shoots fire at them. So that's pretty much the only half-second scene that these are recognizable from the movie. I feel like instead of including these, they could have put a little bit more effort and a little bit more of the parts budget into the temple, and I think that would have made this set a little bit more interesting, but I don't dislike the inclusion here because of the fact that the piece count is so high for the price. So, I wish they were used to a different effect, but I don't mind them being here. Since the figures are mostly good guys, let's get the 2 bad guys out of the way. And this guy isn't really a bad guy, because it's just a statue. It has no exclusive parts, but it is an exclusive combination. Because of the gunmetal gray spear piece, spear, and vermilion helmet. This face on the front is just a statue, but it can come to life on the back. And that print is from the Airjitsu Temple Ground set. So, I think it's cool to include, but nowhere near as cool as this jungle garment on. And let's get the statue out of the way, because this guy is pretty cool. He's got the 4 arms, like you'd expect. He has this new rice hat in dark brown, which only appears on Jungle Garment on, but he comes in one other set. It's cheaper than this one. I like that facial expression, and I really like the print on this cloth cut. And this piece in black is Garmadon's 2012 arms. On the back of the torso, there is, the regular torso, that is, there is a little bit of back printing, actually, even though most of it gets hidden. And 4 arms means 4 katanas, but the front print looks pretty cool, and I like his little curly chest hairs. He doesn't have dual molded legs, which I think is a little bit of a shame, because you can see it's just black on the sides, but the front are dark brown. Other than that, though, I think that he is a really well done figure, like most of the LEGO Ninjago movie figures. So I think that he is a worthy inclusion in this set, and it makes sense given the location here. So the first 2 ninja are Kai and Lloyd, and they each come with their own signature weapons. Lloyd has his Dao sword, I think it is, with the tassel on the bottom, which is cool, and Kai comes with his 2 katanas. One thing that is interesting to point out, though, is Kai comes with a silver shoulder pad, which only appears in the Ultra Stealth Raider, while most of his movie variants and the one in the actual movie have this gunmetal gray. So that's an interesting difference to point out, I think. and I'm not sure exactly why, if it's just an error, or what, but, something to point out. The torsos and legs are their standard movie variants, which is cool. I like them, but it's not like anything super exclusive at all. Lloyd does have his printed arms, and back printing, is back printing. Obviously, they have the standard. And here's Kai's, just 'cause I don't want to take off the shoulder armor. It's relatively simple compared to Lloyd's. And they both have two facial expressions. And these are their more happy ones versus their more angry ones. And we'll leave them angry because they're angry. But they both get their hair pieces. And, I believe that Kai comes in a couple other sets with his hairpiece and ninja suit, and so does Lloyd. And here are Jay and Nia. They also both come with their signature weapons. Nia having her spear with the tassel on the end, which is really a cool weapon. And Jay just has his nunchuck, half nunchuck thing, because it's got a blade on one side. But both of these figures are also really, really nice. I like Jay's torso print and leg print. I like the little orange touch that he's got. And Nia, I really like her cloth skirt piece. That's the only print on her legs, the toe print. There's no print underneath the skirt. But, yeah, their faces are both decent, and they both have their hair pieces. But on the back of their torsos, they each have printing. Nia's cloth print continues down, and they both have a slightly happier face on the back side. Their hair pieces are pretty cool, only appearing in this form and their casual outfit, training, Spinjitzu training variants too, although Jay's is a little bit harder to find there. So cool to get these hair pieces. They're really awesome, but they're not as rare as some. However, Jay's is really useful. And here we go. These are the two most exclusive of the ninja figures in this set. And that's Zane and Cole. They each get their weapons. Cole has a nice brick-built hammer, which looks really good. And Zane has his black bow and arrow. And both of these figures have their standard torso and legs. Zane's a little bit more standard than Cole's. But Cole's, because Cole's has the arm print, which appears on every variant of him except for one. The legs on this particular variant, like my Cole, are slightly less gold, which is a little bit weird. But, I've heard that it's relatively expected. Most of them aren't that great. And Cole's hairpiece is actually really awesome. It only appears in this set and the Spinjitzu training version in a little annual book, which is kind of harder to find. But you do get an extra included, which is really awesome. And the face for Cole is his standard face, front and back. And there's his back print. But Zane's is actually not. It's exclusive to this set because it is that angry expression that you saw when we had it turned around. There, I don't know why I can't get this off, but once I do, you'll be able to see his back print. There we go, back print, nothing special. But yeah, his head has this hair, digital hair, all the way around like the CMF version, but he has an angry expression instead of a happy one, which is really, really nice. I like this a lot, and I think that is one of my favorite Zane looks for the Ninjago movie. So, yeah. Anyway, that's all there is to these two figures. Slightly more exclusive than the others, which makes them a little bit more desirable. So, overall, I think that the Temple of the Ultimate Weapon is a pretty respectable Ninjago movie set. It is a large thing for the $100 price point, and it's very tall, which I think makes it, feel as large as it is. Because in reality, it's not super, it doesn't have the largest footprint. It's pretty wide, but it's very, very shallow. So, there is that to consider. However, I think that it is ultimately a worthwhile, build and a substantial display piece. But it definitely has all of the playability you could have asked for. And what I really appreciate is that they didn't sacrifice much of the appearance of this thing, other than scale, obviously, because they couldn't build the entire thing, because that would be way too expensive and have like hundreds of thousands of pieces. But yeah. The figure selection, I think, is really good. Not in the fact that it has a bunch of exclusive figures, but that it has the entire ninja team. So if you wanted just the entire ninja team, you could buy this one set and you could have them all. Except for Sensei Wu if you count him, but you could get him from the Collect Many figures. So I think that that's another good thing. And I like that it includes the main villain of the movie, because, you know, he's Garmadon and he's very cool. And the other thing to mention is that I do like the fact that even though they are relatively standard characters and appear in a lot of sets, they do a couple of small things to make them even just a little bit exclusive, like Zane's face and Cole's hair, which is pretty cool. So, overall, I think that this is a successful set and a worthy purchase, but personally I would wait for 20% off just because, you know, it so frequently happens. However, I would not have been upset having to pay $100 for this, so I do think that it is worth it at that price. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.